You guys probably remember Rapoo. They make a fantastic mouse, and I featured their product on my channel. It got a lot of views because it was a really compelling offer. Well, they want to offer you guys another mouse. This is the Rapoo VT7. There's a couple different versions of these mice that they have with different ergonomics depending on which version you're looking at, like the VT2, but this is the VT7, and we're going to look at this today. Unboxing this thing, it does have some cool things included, such as the dongle that makes it so you can put it next to your keyboard or like really close so that the response time is really high and not, all the way at your desktop PC. Extra mouse feet and grips. So it comes in a couple different colors, not many to be honest, but it is an 8K hertz polling rate, rated at 100 million clicks, comes with ripple correction, lift off distance, debound settings, supports glass mouse pads, and the most important part of all, this is only 53 grams. The lightweightness of this mouse, is that a word, was the best part about this. It's extremely glidable. Man, these words I'm making up today. This thing just glides across the desk like nobody's business. It feels great to use, and the pads at the bottom are really high quality. My first impressions of it too were pretty impressed, just because the plastics that they use do feel sort of cheap, but not cheap in the sense of like, your Dell or HP mice that come in those pre-made packages, and you're only paying $30 to $40 for this little mouse. So it's kind of overall a good deal. But the plastics don't feel cheap, but they feel light, and that was kind of the point I think they went with, is just how lightweight this is. There's no creaks or cracks when you squeeze and bend it around, nothing like that. Buttons feel decently responsive and good. And the scroll wheel is a little small, but it's a good spot for it. But the plastics they used did feel a little slippery, so it kind of doesn't have the best grip. But they did include grips in the box for you, so it didn't have that big of a deal. But the grips they included with this really will help with that. I'm going to put these on later in the video so that we can compare together. And the software is very comprehensive. So in the software, you can set a bunch of things. You can remap every single click on here. You can change all the debound settings, all the ripple correction, the lift off distance. All those things are correctable. So if there's anything that's bothering you about this, you can change. It doesn't come out of the box set to 8K, so in the software you want to change that, and you want to make sure you do all your firmware updates as well, because I did run into issues with it being out of date, and I had to be wired to do that. Once I did everything, it did run better, so just keep that in mind. You also can set the sleep timer and a lot of really other important settings in here that you'll want to take a look and tweak as you go. So having used this for about a week, just stock out of the box, there's a couple things I ran into and a couple concerns I have, but some of them preferences and some of them not so much. So the first one is going to be talk about the preference. How ergonomic is this? Well, I really prefer a very ergonomic mouse, like their MX clone that they have. That's super ergonomic. It's very comfortable. I really like the Model D- mouse because it's very ergonomical and it gives me a good palm grip. But this one is not that great. It kind of feels like there's a gap at all times in my hand and nothing's fully resting, like it's like kind of lifted up right here. But that might be because this mouse is made for different kind of hands and people who have different kind of preference of grips. But for me, yeah, it didn't sit quite right with me. But again, this could be a totally me thing and not you with how my hands are shaped. I feel like the back could be a little more hunched up, but I know they're trying to copy other mice like Razer, and Razer mice personally to me don't feel good. So I think that's why this didn't feel good to me. So if you like Razer mice feel, this could be a good mouse for you, a good alternative for someone who's trying to make, do have a budget and actually be price conscious about things. But for someone like me, I much prefer something like the Model D- mouse, where it's an actually ergonomic focused gaming mouse. But you can get used to it and it does still perform really well. Now, besides that, everything else was smoothly except for one other little detail. Well, this mouse every day when I came into the office was actually dead. Now, I used this a week straight, and every single day I had to charge it. Not really sure why. It does have sleep settings on it, so it's supposed to sleep once you're done using it, and that way conserve battery life. And the 8K hertz polling rate is supposed to have 50 to 60 hours, which is more than the 15 that I got out of it. Now, they did say that I should make sure all my firmware is up to date, make sure my sleep settings are correct. I had it set to 10 minutes, I turned it down to 2, and that should improve things. So we're going to test that out tonight. I'm going to let you know how it goes, because I've only got one more day to publish this video, so I'll report back in the morning and we'll just see how it sounds overall. I did test this out with a little bit of Battlefield, and I toggled between the different DPIs, and I liked the higher DPI kind of moving around than the lower DPI. That's just a preference thing, but it didn't ever get snagged up. The grips were so good that it felt really smooth to play on. The ergonomics kind of threw me off because I'm used to a different one, and all the buttons here are a little too small for my liking, so it's kind of hard to click use that for certain actions like I used to do. But overall, I had a good experience with it and it didn't bother me too much. The mouse was charged, still had 98% battery, everything was working fine, no issues at all. It seems that the firmware updates fixed everything and everything ran smoothly. So if you get one of these, make sure to update your firmware. And it's in the software, you have to be wired when you do it. And even at 8K gaming, the battery did not degrade or even go down at all overnight. So that's really good to see. I believe changing my sleep timer to 2 minutes instead of 10 also did the trick. And honestly, it responds so quickly when you wake it up, you don't really notice. I decided to put all the grips on here on all the sides, and it has a really nice look to it overall. And it made things a lot more grippy and just more comfortable, except for I wasn't sure where to put this bottom pand on, but it doesn't slip anymore. It feels firm in the grasp, and the ergonomics do feel the same, but you know, hey, at least it's grippy now. So, the Rapoo VT7, did they make a good mouse? Yes, they did. I think this is a very comprehensive, really good mouse. For the $30 to $40 you're paying for, it is amazing what we're getting for the price nowadays when you don't always need to stick with brand names. People have finally nailed how to get mice to feel and sound really good and be really responsive and be perfect for gaming, have good gliding, have good features, have good software, all for a decent price. You can check out the VT7, leave all the links in the description down below, and I'm sure there's some Black Friday sales going on for this thing. If you like my videos, like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. See you guys in the next one.